this organization will emerge as a more effective medium to face global challenges.
The more tumultuous our times become, the more we must stand firm for the high-quality development of the greater BRICS cooperation.
To maximize the potential of our growing economies, we propose to create a new BRICS investment platform.
Hello everyone, welcome to Drawer for Africa. In today's special feature, we dive into a pivotal moment in international geopolitics, the 16th BRICS summit in Kazan, where Ethiopia, Egypt, Iran and UAE joined the BRICS family for the first time. This historic gathering of emerging economies marks a transformative shift in global cooperation as the expanded BRICS bloc unites to challenge the status quo, foster people, and develop a sustainable economic partnerships. As global challenges intensify, these nations stand firm, committed to building a multipolar world and reshaping international financial systems to better serve the global South. Join us as we explore the powerful speeches, bold initiatives, and shared aspirations from this momentous summit, where leaders from Ethiopia, Egypt, and other BRICS nations outline a new path forward. Together, we'll witness how this alliance is enhancing multilateralism, elevating the voices of developing nations, and forging a future of shared prosperity. Let's dive into this transformative moment in global history.
Mutual trust built on a BRICS foundation. India says it's reached an agreement with China to resolve a very long-standing border dispute and maintain peace. All of this happening in Kazan as geopolitics is changing right before our eyes. Well, a very warm welcome to you as we continue our special coverage here. This is RT International Kazan. I am Rory Souchet. It's so good to have your company here. A joint declaration has been written and agreed upon by the BRICS members here today. The next step, it goes straight to the United Nations in New York. The declaration talks about enhancing global peace, prosperity, respect. They also talked about finding a peaceful resolution to the crisis in Ukraine. They also said that sanctions undermine the world trade order. Have a listen to some of these comments.
To maximize the potential of our growing economies, take full advantage of the new wave of global economic growth, we propose to create a new BRICS investment platform, which would become a powerful tool to support our national economies, as well as provide financial resources to the countries of the global South and East.
The more tumultuous our times become, the more we must stand firm at the forefront, exhibiting tenacity to jointly open up a new chapter for the high-quality development of the greater BRICS cooperation. The Ukraine crisis still persists, and China and Brazil, in collaboration with other countries from the global South, initiated a group of Friends for Peace.
BRICS has been responsible for a significant portion of global economic growth in recent decade. Now is the time to move forward with creating alternative payment methods for transaction between our countries. We need to work to ensure the multipolar order we desire is reflected in an international financial system.
The expansion of BRICS earlier this year reflects the group of nations' attention to strengthen multilateral cooperation and raise the voice and interests of the developing countries in various international and regional forums.
As the newest member of the BRICS family, Ethiopia is prepared to engage constructively in fostering multilateralism. It is crucial to acknowledge that economic growth in developing countries is often challenged by unfair global financial systems.
I'm confident that this organization will emerge as a more effective medium to face global challenges, while expanding the bank, ensuring a long-term financial sustainability, healthy credit rating and market access should remain a priority. Our strong belief in our diversity and multipolarity is our strength.
Aspirations for dominance and unilateralism continue to threaten like a deadly plague the foundations of global peace and cooperation. Formation, continuance and expansion of BRICS over the past 15 years proffered the countries and the global community an opportunity to not tether their destinies to the sole dictates of Western powers.
BRICS is an inclusive formation that has the ability to change the trajectory of the global South. To do this, we must realize the full potential of our economic partnership to ensure sustainable development for all and not just for some.
We cooperate not only to counter the current challenges, but we also try to write a roadmap of the future economy that would be more resilient to the future challenges would be based on innovations, which are the basis for future development of the economies.
The Kazan summit was attended by delegations from 35 states and 6 international organizations. Such broad representation clearly demonstrates the authority and role of BRICS and the growing interest in cooperating with us on the part of states that pursue a truly independent, sovereign policy. It is precisely in this civilizational diversity, a unique combination of national traditions, that lies the strength and enormous potential for cooperation, not only within the framework of BRICS, but also in that large circle of like-minded countries that share the goals and principles of the association's activities.
While the press conference was going on, there were also several Western journalists who did ask questions to Vladimir Putin. The whole irony really is that while Western leaders may not want to take questions from Russian journalists, there was Vladimir Putin who was taking questions head-on. In fact, one NBC reporter asked Vladimir Putin about his sneaky conversations with Trump. Also, he spoke about North Korean troops being in Russia. What Vladimir Putin said was, it was total nonsense. Take a listen.
Mr. President, Keir Simmons from NBC News. Mr. President, satellite images are said to show North Korean troops here in Russia. What are they doing here? And wouldn't that be a massive escalation in the Ukraine war?
I would like to draw your attention to the fact that it was not Russia's actions that led to an escalation in Ukraine, but the 2014 coup in Kiev, supported primarily by the United States. It was even publicly announced how much money the US administration at the time spent on the preparation and organization of this coup. So wasn't this the way to escalation? And then we were deceived for 8 years when they said that everyone wanted to resolve the conflict in Ukraine by peaceful means through the Minsk agreements. Later, a number of European leaders bluntly said that they were deceiving us because they used this time to rearm Ukraine. Isn't that true? This is true. Further escalatory steps were made when Western countries began to more actively arm the Kiev regime. So what has it all led to? To the direct participation of NATO military personnel in this conflict. As for our relations with the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, satellite images are a serious thing. If there are pictures, then they reflect something. As you know, our strategic partnership agreement has just been ratified. We have never doubted that the North Korean leadership takes our agreement seriously. But what and how we will do is our business.
So you see a super controversial question there based on random reports and allegations. And this wasn't really the only controversial question that was asked during that press conference. There were many others.
Former US President and now presidential candidate Donald Trump said that in one of his telephone conversations with you, he allegedly threatened you with a strike on the center of Moscow. Is that true? And how do you feel about all the similar talk spilling out into the public space more and more often? If it's true, of course.
Anyone can be threatened. But it is pointless to threaten Russia, because it only cheers us up. I do not recall such a conversation with Donald Trump, and I suggest not taking such statements seriously. We receive various signals from our Western partners regarding possible contacts. We did not close ourselves off from them. Any claims that we refuse contacts, including with European leaders, are simply a lie. If anyone wants to resume relations with us, then we welcome it.
Also, all of that in the backdrop of the very fact that all of these countries saw how the US weaponized the dollar. This is back in 2022, and now the countries are finding ways so that the West cannot restrict them. And the larger consensus amongst these countries really is that the West has been holding them back first by colonies and now by several restrictions that are imposed in terms of unilateral sanctions, etc. And therefore, the BRICS alliance has been focusing on really de-dollarization.
More and more countries are now developing ways, methods, and payment systems that will be an alternative to the hegemony of the dollar.
We would like to develop a system that allows us to exchange financially without having to be afraid that there'll be some punishment.
The Islamic Republic of Iran strongly supports BRICS efforts aimed at de-dollarization of economic relations between members.
We often have trade partners who do not have dollars to trade. Okay, so we now have to look at whether we forego dealings with them or do we find some settlement which works otherwise.
So changing the world order into a fair one, and that's what the BRICS leaders sought to achieve from this BRICS summit. In fact, the leaders who represent around 45% of the world's population, a lot more than the G7, in fact, here wanted to do just that. They do realize that the global south needs their own terms, their own principles to work on, and that's what really they were doing. Now, Vladimir Putin summing that up by saying that BRICS backs multipolar world order, and the Kazan declaration, a positive agenda, is looking into the future.
فخامة الرئيس فلاديمير بوتين رئيس روسيا للتحرير، أصحاب الجلالة والفخامة، رؤساء الدول والحكومات، الحضور الكريم.
And governments, honorable participants, at the outset I express anew my appreciation to His Excellency Vladimir Putin for his invitation to today's meeting under BRICS+. I also welcome the presidents of states and governments participating in the meeting that asserts the growing significance of BRICS groupings, for it is established on mutual cooperation and respect among states, and also reflects the grouping's eagerness on effective consultation and coordination intensification with the friendly and influential states from outside the BRICS in order to achieve our common interests. Ladies and gentlemen, today's meeting comes at a critical international circumstance simmering with compounded crises and challenges. It witnesses a threat to the credibility of the multilateral international order that is overshadowed with protectionist tendencies and unilateral policies. Egypt, amid such bewilderment, believes it is essential for the developing countries to come together and reinforce South-South cooperation as one major medium for encountering the current challenges. Egypt has always been at the forefront of nations who were keen to bolstering cooperation among developing countries, in addition to its assiduous endeavor to reinforcing the interests and the priorities of the South states in various international fora. In this regard, we cannot discuss the current international crises and challenges without discussing the crisis witnessed by the Middle East region. Given the continuous Israeli war for more than a year against the sons of the Palestinian people besieged in Gaza Strip, and who are surrounded by all forms of murder and intimidation, as well as the spiral aggression in the Lebanese territories, which is the greatest evidence to what have our world and the international world become today, as they are void of principles and apply double standards. Moreover, the absence of accountability and justice in face of the violations committed to the international instruments and the rules of the international and the humanitarian law, which resulted in unprecedented humanitarian catastrophe, as well as the continuity and the expansion of war. They are all but testimonies posing concerted international efforts to bring the serious regional escalation to a halt and preclude the region from being grabbed into an all-out war, especially that the regional conflicts are spiral encompassing several countries. Such conflicts are extended to adversely affect the maritime traffic in Eden Gulf and the Red Sea, as well as the international trade and the stability of the global supply chain. Majesties and Excellencies, Egypt values the BRICS Plus as a platform fostering cooperation, consultation among the BRICS groupings and the South countries. In this framework, I would like to note the following points. First, it is necessary to maximize benefit from multilateral development banks to be more capable to furthering the developing countries' access to concessional financing, including access to climate financing. We emphasize the key role of the New Development Bank and the Asian Bank for Infrastructure Investment for providing the required concessional financing to the developing countries to undertake developmental projects in multiple sectors. Second, it is essential to take advantage of BRICS Plus meetings to boost South-South cooperation and step up shared experiences in various fronts, further to the implementation of joint projects attaining mutual benefit. In this context, I would like to underline Egypt's readiness to pursuing its efforts for undertaking numerous projects of technical cooperation and capacity building with interested states. Third, it is important to continue cooperation and consultation among the developing countries to safeguard maintaining the effectiveness of the multilateral international system and to collectively contend with the attempts of prescribing unilateral and individual policies impairing the interests of our countries. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion of my statement, I confirm to you Egypt's full commitment to fostering joint action and common cooperation among the BRICS groupings and the South states for attaining our common goals and our population's aspirations to a better tomorrow. Thank you, peace be upon you, and may Allah's mercy and blessings shower you.